Hi, this is Reddit Confessions channel. My name is Evan, and until very recently, I thought I had a good life. Not a fairy tale, not some cinematic romance, but solid, safe, reliable. That was enough for me. I had a wife, Rachel. We'd been together for over a decade. A shared mortgage, shared memories, shared silence when the days were long and neither of us had energy left to talk. I never mistook that silence for distance. I thought it was comfort, the kind of quiet you settle into with someone who knows you better than you know yourself. Turns out, I didn't know her at all. It all started with a Tuesday. One of those Tuesdays where the sky's gray and the world feels like it's on autopilot. Work had been hectic, back-to-back meetings, revisions, last-minute project pivots. I left the office later than planned, sent Rachel a quick text, heading home. Traffic's a mess. No reply. But that wasn't unusual. What was unusual, though, was the car in the driveway. It wasn't hers. It wasn't a friend's. It definitely wasn't anyone from the neighborhood. A sleek black sedan with tinted windows, sitting too comfortably in front of the house I paid for. My stomach twisted. Maybe she had company, maybe one of her colleagues, maybe family. Maybe I was being paranoid. But the moment I stepped inside, something felt off. There was a strange hush in the air, like the house was holding its breath. The kind of stillness you don't notice unless you've lived in a space long enough to know what silence should sound like. And then I heard laughter, hers and his. A low male voice, followed by a giggle I hadn't heard from her in years. Not since our early days, when we were still discovering each other's quirks, when every joke landed and every glance lingered. I followed the sound like a moth to a flame. And there they were. Rachel, perched on the edge of the couch, legs tucked beneath her. Close, too close, to a man I immediately recognized. Daniel, one of her co-workers, had shaken my hand at parties, nodded at me across barbecues. It bought him a beer once. I had no reason to doubt him. No reason to think he was anything more than what he pretended to be. Until that moment. It wasn't just their closeness. It was the way she touched his arm. The way she leaned into him like gravity pulled her there. The way her eyes sparkled when he spoke. You don't look at someone like that unless something's already been broken and something else has been found. I didn't make a scene. Didn't yell. Didn't even say her name. Instead, I did the only thing I could do without falling apart. I slid off my wedding band and placed it on the coffee table. The sound it made on the wood was soft, but it echoed like thunder. That's when she noticed me. Her face went pale. Evan, I raised a hand, silencing her. You forgot something, I said, gesturing to the ring. Might want to hold on to it. Or toss it. Up to you. Daniel had the decency to look away. At least he had that. Rachel didn't move. I turned around and walked out, shutting the door gently behind me. I didn't go home. Not really. Not to the place where I could still see her smile from 2 weeks ago, hear her footsteps in the hallway, smell her shampoo on the pillow. Instead, I drove. Nowhere in particular. Just away. The lights of the city blurred past me, but I wasn't really seeing anything. It all felt like a dream I couldn't wake up from. Eventually, I ended up at a diner. One of those places that smelled like burnt coffee and old vinyl booths. I ordered a cup of something to bitter and just stared out the window. My phone buzzed once, twice, then a text, "Please come home. We need to talk." Talk. That word felt like a joke. I didn't reply. Another message, "He's gone. Just come back, gone." I read that word a dozen times, trying to understand what it meant. Had she kicked him out? Did he leave on his own? Was she afraid to be alone now that the secret was out? Eventually, curiosity beat out bitterness. I drove back. When I got there, the driveway was empty. The house was dark, except for one lamp glowing in the living room. Through the blinds, I saw her pacing, phone in hand. I stepped inside. She stopped in her tracks. Evan, she breathed, like she'd been holding that name in her mouth too long. I didn't speak, just closed the door and waited. She stepped forward. He left. Right after you did. I nodded and moved. Figures. I didn't mean for it to happen like that. OH. I let out a dry laugh. So there was a better version of this betrayal you had planned. Her eyes whirled. I made a mistake. How long? That shut her up. I waited. A few months, she whispered eventually. Months. While I was working late. While I was planning anniversary dinners. While I was folding our laundry and thinking we were just tired, not broken. I stepped back when she tried to reach for me. Please, she whispered. It didn't mean anything. That's worse, I said. You burned down a decade for something meaningless. Her tears came then, but I didn't offer comfort. I couldn't. You've got one chance, I said, to tell me the truth. Not the polished version. The real one. I am telling the truth, no, I said, voice flat. You're scared. Not sorry. There's a difference. She flinched, and in that moment, I saw it. Not guilt, not heartbreak, fear. Not fear of losing me, but fear of what I might do now that I knew. That's when I realized something even colder than her betrayal. She didn't regret it. She just regretted getting caught. The days that followed were a blur. I found a cheap motel and stayed there. Work became a distraction. But no matter how many spreadsheets I buried myself in, the memory kept resurfacing. Rachel kept calling, kept texting. Then came the emails. Most were the same. I'm sorry. Please come home. We can fix this. But one caught my attention. Subject line, it's about Daniel. Curiosity got the better of me. I opened it. It was short. Evan, you need to know, I wasn't the only one. I scoffed. Of course he wasn't. But I typed a quick reply anyway. Doesn't matter. Don't contact me again. Seconds later, my phone rang. I let it go to voicemail. Then picked up the next time. Evan, she whispered. Please, just let me explain. You've got 2 minutes, I said. Daniel Hayes done this before. He targets married women at work. I wasn't special. Hayes been seeing other people too. Including, she paused, Kara. My blood ran cold. Kara was Ryan's wife. Ryan, my boss. My friend. The man who mentored me for years. You're lying, I said. I wish I were, she whispered. I sat there for a long time. Then I made a choice. If I could spare Ryan the pain of finding out like I had, I would. I called him. We met at the same diner. When I told him, he laughed. A dry, humorless laugh. Daniel, he repeated. I nodded. He went silent. Then, I'm going to kill him. I stopped him from walking out. No. You're going to get proof. Together, we did. We had Rachel call Daniel on speaker. She asked him, point blank, about Kara. His response, you want a list. You weren't special, sweetheart. Ryan heard everything. The rest happened fast. He confronted Kara, took off his wedding ring, walked away. And just like that, both of us were free. Weeks passed. Rachel still tried to reach me, but I was done. I found a small apartment, got a new couch. Throughout every reminder of our life together, Ryan and I stayed in touch, shared drinks, laughed bitterly about our divorce attorneys. One night, he asked, you dating again? I shook my head. Not ready. He smiled. One day, and I believed him. A year later, I ran into him at a bookstore calf. He was with someone. She looked kind, soft-spoken, real. He looked happy, and for the first time, I didn't feel broken anymore. Just clean. Like the storm had passed.